judiciary plays in the socio-economic development of this country. You will recall that in 2003, 2004, when the performance contracting idea came up first, it was fiercely opposed by the then leadership of the judiciary. But with the new constitution and the obligations that are there, that the judiciary is exercising the authority of the people and is accountable, the new leadership in the judiciary, my predecessor, Dr. Mutunga, and the leadership in the judiciary sat down and said, look, we must comply with the Constitution. Then what the judiciary did was to sit down, get all the judges, the leadership and the representative of the judges, and say, look, we cannot have commercial disputes lying in courts for years on end, because we are holding a lot of investment funds that would go into the economy. So the question of contracting and how much each one of the judges is going to do was a thorny issue. But the leadership faced it on and said, no, this must be done. When I came in, we got the judges themselves into groups and said, look, we are under obligation to perform and perform optimally. You are not going to have a case lying under judgment or in a case which you have decided for years before you get a judgment out. We agreed, the judges themselves set the targets. They set the targets. Then the judiciary leadership looked at the targets and assessed whether or not we were only talking about numbers or we are also incorporating quality work in that. And came up with the performance assessment and the contracting, and the judges themselves and the magistrates started working towards those targets. I'm happy to report that quite a number of matters were resolved, and the speed at which the cases are being disposed now is much, much higher. The other thing that we looked at was the issue of alternative dispute resolution. We embraced it. It is in the Constitution. We embraced it and said, look, there are very many matters that can be disposed of through alternative dispute resolution. So we came up with mediation. Arbitration is there. We told the judges to deliberately look at the issues, cases before them, and see which ones can be resolved through those alternative dispute resolution. When you talk about cases, Your Excellency, cases of succession at the end of the day boils down to the distribution of the deceased estate. And if you're going to be mechanical and say you want to hear these cases and decide, you will get the siblings going out of court, in fact, and getting arms to kill each other. But when we came up with mediation and referred most of those cases to mediation, quite a number of people were happy going out. The siblings discussing those cases and going out and dealing with them. So that's how we have gone about it. And now we came the time of utilizing technology. You know, from the COVID-19, 2020, most of the operations came to a standstill. As the leadership of the judiciary, we said, look, we can't. We are offering essential services, and we must find a way of dealing with this. And we came up with the harnessing technology. We had challenges. We a lot of opposition, sadly even from part of the government, Your Excellency, and more even from the stakeholders. But we were firm, and we started virtual courts. We started electronic filing of cases. Your Excellency, it is now common knowledge that the courts are able to operate, quite a number of them. The Court of Appeal, for instance, doesn't have any physical sittings anymore. They are disposing cases through virtual hearings. So that is what it requires. You require leadership. Like now, we are finishing this conference, and there are going to be a number of resolutions that are going to be made. Unless you have a courageous leadership, unless you have a committed leadership, we will come back here 5 years down the line and say, look, the resolutions from this conference, maybe only a third have been implemented. And we go on going in circles. So what I would, as I said in the morning, what we need is leadership which understands its role, which understands its mandate, which knows that it is answerable to the public. And more importantly, Your Excellency, I'm happy with your statements. Yesterday and the day before, listening to the discussions that were here, what came out clearly in my mind is we need political will. Political will at both levels of government to move quite a number of things. And with His Excellency at the helm and in front, and the governors following suit, I can't see why we cannot achieve or get near achieving what we require to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chief Justice. Before I go to Prime Cabinet Secretary, let me ask CS Moses Kuria, your ministry is the custodian of the IPPD. How can we ensure that all public sector institutions migrate to a unified payroll system to mitigate wastage, double pay, ghost workers, manual pay, fake pay,